So this looks like a good place as any. Take a quick drink break. But we're just out here, just trying to get a little bit of time in on the bike between races. As some know, some point between Kingman and Tucson, my helmet no longer in my truck. So shout out to my dad, let me borrow a helmet, but that also means I lost my whole hydration system that's in the helmet. So we gotta take a couple breaks more often because I just have water bottles with me. You know, it is what it is, but definitely unfortunate. We'll figure it out though. Freaking beautiful day to be out here, but we're 32 minutes in of physical ride time. Figured it was a good time for him to stop and grab a drink. All right, well, trail ended back there. It's like 10 miles to get back to the last split off. So this is what we're looking at. We got to get down to that trail. So we're gonna go full Billy Goat. And unfortunately the GoPro already died. Well, this will be the last video I make before I get back to the truck. Yeah, it was not as simple as hop from one trail to the other. 2.5 hours into it. ran out of light, ran out of water. I just finally had to cave and call for help. So yeah, don't fucking ride alone. It's not worth it. Yeah, I will update you guys once we get back to the truck.
The footprint's on the left.
So, came back out today to try to find the bike. That's what we hiked through last night to get out. We found it. Started up there somewhere. Trail's clear down there. Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
coming up this?
Yeah, right here and then come to me. Over here is too big.
Saturday's ride. It was if you made it this far in the video, you saw what happened, how it went. It was a learning experience. I know better than to ride alone. I was supposed to be riding with someone. They didn't show up. I said, screw it, what's the worst that could happen? Everybody rides alone all the time. So I went for a ride on my own, and honestly, it turned out really good compared to what it could have been. I do want to set the story straight. Everybody that's already heard about it keeps saying I got lost. I was never lost. I knew exactly where I was the whole time, and it still was that questionable on how it was going. I was never worried for my safety, but it did look like I might be sleeping in the desert. So I ran out of water, I ran out of daylight, I ran out of phone battery, and I was riding on my own, and I was off the trail. So a lot of things you never want to have happen when you're out in the middle of the desert. Luckily, it's still only April, so not insanely hot. That happens in another 2 months, it could be a different outcome. Yeah, I mean, you saw the clip. I made a wrong turn. I knew where I made the wrong turn, but I didn't want to go backwards. I thought it would be quicker to shoot through the canyon to get down to the trail that I needed to be on to get back to the truck, and I was racing daylight. Hindsight would have been a lot faster to go backwards, go back to the main trail, get to the truck. Probably still would have ran out of daylight, but I at least would have been on a main trail. That being said, I spent about an hour working my way down the canyon when I realized I 100% was going to run out of daylight before I could get out of the canyon. I went to pull out my phone, see distance I had left, realized my phone was almost dead, so I went ahead and made the phone call to my dad. I dropped a pin at the trail I was trying to get to and said, you know, please meet me here. I'll answer questions later. My phone's gonna die. I will see you when I see you, essentially. With him having a pin to exactly where I was trying to get to, it was extremely difficult for him to get there. At night, not being able to see all the exact trails that he needed. Not only that, he had to question, did the pin actually drop where I meant for it to? Because I was still mile and a half from the pin drop when I called him, which meant I had a lot of hiking to do. In the dark with no service. So he had the thoughts, did the pin actually drop in the right spot? Am I gonna make it there? And if I don't make it there, is he gonna be able to find me? I had to hope that he made it to where I wanted him to, and that he would be there when I got there. After getting off the phone with him, I spent probably another half hour trying to work my bike down the ridge line. Started to get some really big drop-offs, and I was really out of light at that point. So I made the decision. My bike was nowhere near a trail, so I knew it was safe. Just ditch the bike, leave it there, and come back for it later. And I hiked out. I called him about 7 o'clock. We made it back to my truck at about 10 p.m. So about 3 hours worth of that. And then we got with my uncle, and he was nice enough to go back out there with us the next day. First thing Sunday morning, and we hiked back into the trail, or from the closest trail to my bike, and then we made the decision that we weren't sure how it would go trying to get the bike the rest of the way to the end, and we thought we were more at the 50% mark, so same distance up, same distance down. We know I already made it down that far, so it's rideable to get back up, just going to be really difficult. So we made the decision we would work the bike back up the mountain. So my dad took the side-by-side, or hiked back out to the side-by-side and took the trails around to get to the top of the mountain, so that once we made it up there, you know, my uncle wasn't without a vehicle. He wouldn't have to hike back down it to the car and whatnot. I'm still unsure if that was the right or wrong decision. Turns out I was a mile from the trail at the bottom and about 3 miles, or about 1.5 miles from the trail at the bottom and about 3 miles from the trail at the top. So it was definitely significantly farther. The upside, which is part of what we factored into what decision we made, was if you crash going uphill, you normally just fall over. If you crash going down drop-offs and cliffs and stuff, like, it's a long fall to the bottom. So I did crash it, I think only once getting up to the top. So, you know, it might have been the better call. You'll never really know for sure. It took us about 2 hours to work, 2.5 hours to work the bike back up to the top. Me and my uncle, I was riding it. He would kind of help give an extra push, pull, tug to shove it up the hill. Yeah, I love hard enduro riding. I haven't ridden it in a while. I'm very rusty. After that, maybe not quite as rusty. Got a lot of training in a quick time frame. But honestly, I mean, because it worked out well, it was, like, I had fun. Truly, I would like to go back and finish the trek from top to bottom, preferably with some more experienced hard enduro riders. I have a couple friends that race that stuff. That way they can help me find better lines, because that was a lot of my struggle, was just not knowing which line would truly work out the best. So someday maybe I'll go back, definitely with a lot more preparation, a lot more time. But yeah, I mean, it could have gone really sideways really quick. So hopefully I can learn the lesson for anybody watching this. It's truly not worth it to ever go out on your own. Too many things can go wrong too quick. For some reason, if you do have to be riding on your own, stay on the main trails, the main paths, the main roads. I mean, without technology the way it is, I would have had to hike all the way out or slept there. So it's definitely, you know, that saved me a lot of exhaustion. But yeah, overall, I did have fun. It was a really good ride up until that point. Really fast, flowy ride. That point, from the start of trying to make my own trail on, I do really enjoy that stuff, so it was definitely fun, but not the right decisions and could have gone really bad. But overall, I mean, I made it back in one piece, bike's in one piece, should be a good time. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. We'll have a video next week. I have a buddy, a lot of people know him as the Real GP, or Greg Page, coming down. His bike's having some issues, so we're going to do some work on it, and then go, hopefully, if we can get it running good with enough time, go out and do some riding. I'm actually starting up something new, so we'll do another video on that after I get a couple little testing in on it, see how it's going, to let you know what's going on there. But should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So that'll be the next one. Thank you guys.